tennis has some big tennis thing that they host, but it's
the U.S. Open.
Oh, there you go.
This is the problem. How do we translate Jessica's interest in Naomi Osaka's dress into Jessica actually knowing things about the sport? That's what gymnastics has to figure out, though, right? Because there are so many people who are like, oh, I saw Jordan Childs and Simone Biles bow at Rebeca Andrade. I loved that. Like, love, share, and then I've never thought about it again. So how do you translate that person to someone who's actually going to buy a ticket? It's the whole issue.
Summer is upon us. Simone said it's a 50-50 chance she might return. Texas is finally getting a D1 gymnastics program. Leah Monica Fontaine is your Canadian national champion. And today, once again, we will fix gymnastics. Because right now, the best gymnasts in the world don't necessarily get the chance to compete against each other. So we will be fixing that and modernizing the sport. You're welcome, once again. It is June 1st, 2026, and welcome to the number one gymnastics podcast in the galaxy. I'm Jessica and Spencer from the Balance Beam Situation. The headlines today, we got the news that Texas State is adding a women's gymnastics team. It will be a D1 gymnastics team. They will be starting in 2028 and joining the Pac-12. Does that make sense? Of course.
Well, I mean, it makes as much sense as any of these other ones now. Fine,
exactly. Sure. Because
Texas is on the Pacific. It's fine.
Right. Everybody knows that. This is exciting because they've had a club team for years, men's and women's, and now they're going to add D1 gymnastics. We've been waiting for a D1 gymnastics program in Texas for years and years and years and years and years. And so the question is Oklahoma still going to be Woga North? Or
I mean, they have some national championships. They've got some clout to argue with. Compared to a new program, but I think Texas State is starting with a huge advantage in terms of locality, and it should not be difficult for them to recruit. I'm going to be fascinated to see the flurry of transfer portal a year from now, because I feel like if we thought this year was crazy, Texas State, depending on if they do it right, will have a lot of gymnasts from Texas who are like, wait, I can go home and do a D1. If I'm not 1000% happy at the team I'm on right now, I can go do this instead. I think they will have a lot of built-in ability to draw gymnasts, and it should be very exciting. For us, maybe not for the other teams that have been like getting those Texas gymnasts, but the established teams should not be worried yet.
Yeah, because there has been Texas women's, but they're not D1.
Yes, as Jessica will always remind us, and then I will always say it's actually Texas women's, not women's. It's a singular woman's. It's a singular possessive woman.
It's for the woman of Texas.
It's like Mother's Day. It's for each individual mother.
Got it. Which, Mother's Day was a protest against war, and then they just erased that part of it. Anyway, fun facts. Meet news. We had Canadian Nationals, which should be known as the Longevity I'm Still Here. You're welcome championships.
Oh, that's good marketing. In an episode about fixing gymnastics, I think we'll start with some really good taglines and really good marketing. Like a multi-sentence long name for a competition is always good. Leah Monica Fontaine, world silver medalist on vault from 2025, won the all-around at Canadian Nationals, won it pretty handily. It wasn't a close race. She really has emerged as the top all-arounder in Canada now, and things have been on an upward trajectory even since winning that medal at Worlds last year. Gabrielle Black, also a strong Canadian, also went to Worlds, has been performing very well. Second all-around, Leah Reddick was third all-around. A lot of the favorites that we know and have known over many years competed in various respects. Ellie Black competed, and I'm fascinated as to what were there requirements that she needed to fulfill, because if you aren't up on it, this is what we're here for. Ellie Black competed the all around, but on vault she did a 1.6 D score, which is like the minimum. That's the minimum vault. On floor, her D score was in the 3s, and it's Ellie Black. We know she can do a lot more. So I'm interested in, was there some need to compete the all around? Was she just like, what's fun? The all around. In which case, I'm 100% on board. I'm just fascinated because that's not something we typically see.
Yeah, I agree. Orly Tran our NCAA superstar,
Iowa 10
beautiful bars, competed for her home country.
Yes. So she was third all around after day 1. She did not compete all around day 2. She did vault, beam, and floor. Or no, vault, bars, and beam, did not do floor. So she wasn't, up there in the all around standings, but she did very well. Ava Stewart, who is competing at Minnesota now, did vault, bars, and beam. Shallon Olsen competed, got silver on vault. So, it's a lot of the, as Jessica mentioned, the longevity, whatever it was, longevity championships. A lot of the Canada is at least doing something right in terms of creating an environment where the top athletes who've gone to do US NCAA gymnastics are still encouraged to also come back and compete at nationals, which I think is good for fleshing out the athlete pool. One of the other significant things I did want to mention, going back to Ellie Black's performance. So on the second day, she tied for the highest beam score, a 13.7. She didn't hit everything, but she had a really good beam on day 2 for 13.7. That's important for Canadian selection for the Commonwealth Games, because they have an interesting provision in their selection where if you made an event final at Worlds last year, so that applied to Leah Monica Fontaine and Ellie Black, who made the beam final. If you then in 2026, if you score at a sufficient, there's a standard, you have to score at a sufficient level on that event, you get onto the Commonwealth Games team. So at that 13.7 on beam, because she made the beam final last year, was a particularly significant result.
We like that. Also, speaking of college gymnasts, going back, Emma Slevin went back to Ireland and became the all-around national champion, returning to her home country. Obviously, I hope they had a parade for her. How many times do I have to say this? Come on.
Is it to ask, are we asking for a St. Slevin's Day? Maybe. Is that sacrilegious? Probably in some way? Maybe. Whatever.
Ireland has an Obama's statue. So Emma Slevin's obviously next. The Koper World Cup was interesting.
Yes, it was very Challenge World Cup in a way that I enjoyed tremendously. I wanted to talk about the bars final at Koper because it was the bars final of chaos, in that everyone fell or had a major error, and it was just like all over the place. No one knew what was going to happen. Jofia Kovac went up last, another longevity queen, won gold with a flyaway dismount, which I kind of have, if we're, again, talking about fixing gymnastics, I kind of have some objections to doing a super difficult routine on the bars and then dismounting with a flyaway, and it's fine. But in this case, she was the one who hit and hit her difficulty and stayed on. So do a flyaway dismount and won. Caitlin Rosekrantz from South Africa got silver. She hit the mat with her foot swinging through for silver. Sana Vierman got bronze when she hit the bar with her foot on a pike to Tkachev and added an extra swing for bronze. So that I think that illustrates for me how this final went in terms of the hitting department, where it was like, oh yeah, you had 2 major mistakes and you got bronze. So, it's what we expect and what I enjoy from a Challenge Cup, because as I will always say, falls are fun. I don't want to meet where everyone hits.
Opportunities for comedy, as Ollie always says. This is what makes meets fun.
Yeah.
Beam was another interesting event.
Oh, if Challenge Cups were Worlds, I would be on it, because if I would be on my justice for Elite, I would be on the actual back of a bandwagon, because I really enjoy her gymnastics. I thought it was very strong. She got bronze, which is a great result. Gold was to Blanaru of Romania, who had a very strong routine going, but did grab the beam on her wolf turn. And I returned to having the bee in my bonnet about the deductions for wolf turns, which we complain about wolf turns all the time. But one of my biggest issues is that major errors on wolf turns are not appropriately deducted. You're not appropriate. There's not appropriate disincentive for wolf turns if major errors like grabbing the beam to rebalance on your third turn on a wolf turn is not considered, that's just 5/10 for grabbing the beam as far as I'm concerned. That should be no difference than you had a big wobble on an aerial and you had to lean over and grab the beam. You grabbed the beam to prevent falling off, wobbling. That's what a grab the beam deduction is. So I had a big problem there.
I do wish we had more disincentives for wolf turns in general. Like it's a point and a
or
half.
just for things in life in general.
If right, just things that we don't like to look at. I do really like her dance on beam. Actually, the only problem is like so many elites. Like she does her dance and then stops dead still, and then goes. Like it's supposed to be connected seamlessly. I know what you're doing is terrifying. Believe me, I can get my back handspring on beam. It's too scary on the real beam. So
Tina Zelcic also of Croatia also got silver, which was one of those moments where every time I think I'm ready to say, like, we need to get rid of non-rebounding connections on beam. The only thing you should get credit for is rebounding. The rest is just skills near each other. Someone like Zelcic comes along who does such a beautiful mount combination of leap elements that I'm like, well, I don't want to get rid of this one. But you should only do it if it looks like this, and otherwise it's disqualified. But it was a great opening, really utilize the series bonus to how it should be on beam, which is with quick rhythm, putting well-executed elements next to each other, and that was very satisfying. That was another highlight of the Koper World Cup for me. Besides Ellie Elite, who everything she does is perfect, especially her ring positions on floor.
Where is Leet from again? Remind
Great Britain.
everyone.
And she took multiple years off, and now she's back. Danusha Francis was doing the commentary for the World Feed on the Koper World Cup, and they were from the same gym. And so Danusha was like, "I'm just so pleased. I'm just so pleased to see her back, and it's really good. And I'm so happy." And also, when you watch Ellie Elite, you're like, I didn't need Noosh to tell us that they went to the same gym when they were little. When they were growing up, you're like, yes, by visual clarity, yeah.
Speaking of coming back, Tasia James, she is one of those gymnasts, like in the beginning of GymCastic, we used to talk about her a lot and how when she was a junior, we're like this, oh my God, she's great. She has all the skills. Like, she's got she has it all. And then she disappeared for many years, injuries. And now she has been back competing elite as a senior for a while, but like really showed like what she can do this last like 2 years, I would say. But she had a really, really weird thing on floor, which I missed. Looking
Jessica
for
missed it. I saw it and was like, oh, because so Tasia James got silver on floor, very good routine. But in her choreography right before her second pass, she fully steps out of bounds and does my favorite thing ever, which is when gymnasts go out of bounds, not on a tumbling pass on floor. Shout out to Anastasia Webb, who did my favorite ever at that time at Oklahoma when she'd finished her choreography and realized that her extended leg was just like a foot out of bounds and then slowly scooted it in like nobody saw that. It's great. So they didn't take it. No one saw it. So it didn't happen. No out of bounds deductions. But I did love where she was just dancing and was suddenly like, oh, I'm not supposed to step over there. That's not where I meant to step. No one saw it. Tumbling pass.
I seriously was like, wait, where is it? Where is it? But it was so like beautifully done. I didn't notice at all. And I was like, oh, there's a line there in front of her toe, that's the point of choreography. It's not just for artistic impression. It's also for distraction. Because if you are doing enough interesting choreography, people aren't watching whether your feet are out of bounds or not. But if you're not, that's what they're watching. Speaking of what people are watching, we have this thing that we do every Friday or after major competitions live immediately with our unfiltered comments and reactions to competitions. But we do this thing called behind the scenes.
You thought this was unfiltered. Wait for behind the scenes.
For behind the scenes.
And if you want to get about travel, the best.
A taste of what goes on behind the scenes, I have 2 updates for you from behind the scenes this week. One is that Cape Cod and South Africa are not they're not breeding grounds for great white sharks. They're actually like just where they hang out a lot together. But there's several places like, by San Francisco is one. As we know, freezing cold water is basically, one of the things. So there's several of those around the world, but confirmed by one of our listeners that yes, everyone has that shark app. So you know where the sharks are, so you don't go in the water, or really the seals, because if the seals are there, then the sharks are there.
The sharks are going to be like, yum, yum, yum.
Yeah, so update on that. And then you guys, we had a real life dysentery story because
yes, we did.
I made a joke about how what if
that's something you got on the Oregon Trail and never again, right? As
Right.
most of us thought.
We thought it was over, but apparently, when I made a joke about the U.S. team getting dysentery and not being able to compete, that happened to someone. So those are the kind of stories you get. How can the people access this wonderful content, Spencer?
Well, you can go to GymCastic.com and subscribe, become a member of Club Gym Nerd at many different levels for your personal needs and are available for your perusal at GymCastic.com. You get the bonus episode every Friday, behind the scenes, the full archive, all the games, the members only forum where we had, questions about how to make friends. And I was like, I don't know, maybe local gym nerd friends, connections to be made on the forum. And also you get discounts on live shows.
And we also have new games for you. So we have the Gym Doll now, no login, no membership necessary. We have the Gym Bee, which is for members, and it's updated with a bazillion new things. Also, Club Gym Nerd makes a great gift, and we have a store where you can get merch, gear up for elite season, so everybody knows where you stand as a gymnastics fan. You can get everything at gymcastic.com. Let us discuss, before we get to fixing gymnastics, for crying out loud.
Oh, wow.
A
big topic.
It's time for the Gymternet news. First of all, with Gymternet news, let's get to the dumpster fire news and get this out of the way. But also, very importantly, there's something happening in Texas that you guys should know about. So a former Austin area gymnastics coach has been indicted on child indecency charges. According to KXAN News, one of our listeners alerted me to this. Paul Miller, who worked at a gym in Cedar Park, and he worked at Capital Gymnastics in 2011 and 2012. He's accused of touching inappropriate body parts of minors in 2024. But again, he has worked at gyms going way back. The prosecutor is looking for more survivors. If you were coached by this guy, if you know someone that was affected by this, please contact the Bernie County prosecutor, Andrew Fields, and you can call the victim's advocate number there. Again, this is Cedar Park, Texas, Austin area. Victim's advocate number is 830-249-9343. And again, that's Paul Miller. Okay, now for who knows news. Mm-hmm. Simone says she's still 50% maybe for Ellie.
So she's still 50? 50. It's amazing for 50.
She has said she feels like 50 for so many years. Yeah. When she was like 20 and calling herself a grandma, I was like, Simone, little do you know, you're going to compete till you're 28 or how old she is. But she told El País, the Spanish newspaper, that I'd say which I love that she's like it's all a team decision. It's everyone. We're still at 50%, although I'll take this opportunity to say one thing. I feel we should know how to admire athletes while they are active and competing. Which I feel like is a weird translation, but she probably means, what do you think that means?
I think the point is, what I think she feels the pressure of everyone constantly saying, like, when are you coming back? Are you coming back? When are you coming back? When are you coming back? And it's like, I think the sentiment is, for however long athletes are competing, enjoy them while they're competing. And don't always make it, well, you have to do more. You have to do more. Next. Like it's what's next and not. While it's totally understandable from a fan perspective, because you're like, no, you're the thing I look forward to. I want to see you. For athletes, it is like you never feel good enough, or you always feel the pressure to do more. And it's like Simone shouldn't have to assert that, like, y'all, whatever I've done, it's already good enough, which of course it is, but people always want to see more. But so I think that's where it's coming from. It's like, for what you appreciate what you got, I already given so much.
Yeah. And she goes on to say that, like, she feels fulfilled and she's already done 3 Olympic Games, and, the decision will be mine, which I think is very important. Not her team, not her husband, not her parents, not her anybody else, no coaches, no,
She's texting Nellie, like, the decision will be mine.
It's up to me, by the way. Yeah. But she said that a home Olympics might be motivation. But, I feel like she's done. But I don't know.
She's given a number, though. She's given 50%. It's not
50%
like
is so low. 50%.
you're giving it's like I feel like you would normally, if you were just kind of probably not going to, you would be like, the door is still open. That's much more non-committal. 50% is like that's more than so you're telling me there's a chance.
Serena Williams is coming back at 44, so did she just compete at something though? I don't understand tennis because they're
Venus
never
did.
really.
Venus.
Venus came back, but now Serena's coming back.
No, but this is the best part. Side note, but I really want to talk about this because
this is important for our later discussion of how to fix
She re-entered the WADA pool a while back. Like she re-entered the drug testing pool, which came out in the news, and then she was like, "You guys are crazy. I'm not coming back." And everyone was like, "Okay, but no one enters the drug testing pool for fun." Like, there's no reason you would do that unless you were at least entertaining the possibility of coming back. So yes, it's kind of, you've had to play the game of like, don't know if Serena's planning on coming back. It's like she re-entered the drug testing pool.
Yep. Did you see the news? The pictures and video of the Ukrainian gymnasts who covered their eyes and ears at European Championships, rhythmic. When they showed.
When you said European champions for a second, I was like, I missed it.
Didn't. It was rhythmic. Yes. Okay. That rhythmic competes so much. This is the thing. Like, this is another thing we're going to discuss when we get to fixing gymnastics. But yeah, it was about the inclusion of Russia and Belarus and seeing the flag. They were like, nope, we're gonna not hear or see this. And so now Ukrainian Gymnastics Federation has launched a campaign to honor the memory of war victims. You know, they have that process in Ukraine where when the processional for a funeral of a soldier goes by, everyone stops and faces the street. I don't know if you've seen that in Ukraine. And so this is, an extension of that. I feel like it's an extension of that. So as part of the campaign, the Federation called for athletes, coaches, and fans and sports organizations from various countries to join this. And to participate, people are asked to take a photo or video with their eyes closed, ears covered, and post it on social media with the hashtag close your eyes and ears, hashtag remember Ukraine. And I think this is a great idea. Like, anything that raises awareness is great. Did you see this story? Denver did a good job of promoting this. So there's an athlete at University of Denver. Athlete went into the training staff and was like, what the hell? All of us are tearing our Achilles. What's up with this? Mm-hmm. So they started a program to actually look into it and how can we prevent Achilles, tendon injuries in collegiate women's gymnastics. So they partnered with the Department of Mechanical Engineering, which is a specialized research group in tackling complex projects in the field of sports biomechanics. So they worked on this and they have created a program. And I love seeing this kind of thing because the Achilles tear issue is an issue that so many researchers are trying to tackle, especially in women's gymnastics. And so, I love that they're doing it and working on it and are publicizing this. This is a great thing to publicize. Like, we care about this. It's important to us as a university, not just, for the gymnastics program. And here's the things that universities can do, because intellectualism is not bad. And education.
I thought it was just for sports.
It's how we get medicine. So happy to see about that. Did you watch any of the videos of Florida did their trip to Singapore to the Macquarie gym and where Cleo's coaching, and it's a baby blue gym. And it's very compact, but has all the stuff. And they had their trainers went, their strength trainer went, the team did talks, and they tried durian. The team.
Okay, good.
My question is, did anyone know what durian was before they went? I assume that Leanne knew because Sky, because they're on the world team and durian is in Indonesia. But they were...
You're presuming that the gymnasts did things when they were in countries, which is not always something that's possible to do.
I was like, we walked past every time. We were like, no, durian, nothing. I'm not trying it. I'm not going near it. If you're not allowed to take it into a taxi with you, I'm not putting it in my mouth. That's how I feel. But good life lesson, good important life lessons of GymCastic. Right. But some gymnasts were like, ew, ew, what is this? Disgusting. And other was like, oh, this is good. I like it. Maybe if you hold your nose, like that's the whole problem is the smell. So if you have a cold or something,
maybe
so much more delicious. Yeah.
So this is how Florida wins a national championship. That's what I'm saying. They just need to go all in on durian. They're like, oh, we can't beat Oklahoma at the meet. Well, what if we just throw a bunch of durian at them?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God.
Like, put it in the hotel hallway the night before the final.
No, apparently it smells so bad.
You got to stop playing nice, Florida.
You have to like evacuate buildings from the smell of it. Like that's how bad. It's supposed to smell like a dead body, I think. There was a huge celebration for Nadia 50th year anniversary of her gold medal. And the Palace hosted it. It was in Bucharest. It was such a huge event. Now I understand why there was this whole thing from the Federation. Remember when the Federation was like, we're not associated with this other Nadia thing. This was the real Nadia celebration. So this was, they had giant screens as you walked into the palace that were her performances. There's a statue of her, like a full-size statue. I mean, this was like when I say how athletes should be treated, carried on a litter into the room, showered with gold, it looked amazing. Just absolutely incredible. And so then she also got a commemorative coin for the 50 years of her perfect 10, which this is great. We love a commemorative coin. And they look good too. It's not like, oh, we made this thing in the 70s and we've kept the same design. It looks like legitimately like she has muscles. And you can see like the details are excellent on this. They even got the 1.0. It's really, really pretty. I like it. Michigan men's gymnastics are finally getting a new facility after 1 bazillion years. Like the women have a palace that the men aren't allowed to use unless the women aren't there, but they don't practice in it because the men didn't earn it and the women got a donor who gave it to them. So $29 million was provided by the athletic department, which is huge. What else is happening? The Gymstrada is coming to Vegas. How would you describe Gymstrada for people that aren't familiar?
I don't know.
I think
you describe it to me.
The old-timey Olympics, when you'd see people in fields doing exercises together, like that's.
I love that you're pretending like you saw the old-timey Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Gymstrada, and I've seen videos of old-timey Olympics. So basically, it's like being there. Yeah. They also have cool things like swinging rings, and but it's going to be in Vegas, so I imagine it's going to be inside, which I think is not the norm for it. But I guess it depends where it is. But it's exciting that something like that's really about anyone of any age, gymnastics for life, is going to happen in the United States because we don't have enough of that here. Even though finally, after so many years of all of us pushing for it, adult gymnastics is becoming so much more popular. It took so long. It took really, honestly, you know who is responsible for that? Generation X. You're welcome. That is the generation that made this happen. It really is, because all of us are the ones that pushed years and years and years and years and did it anyway, and to fight to find gyms. And now there's camps and all this stuff. So the boomers gave you the right to vote before you could be drafted, and we gave you adult gymnastics. At least we did one thing. Liverpool
finally found one.
We did one thing. Liverpool's hosting the Gymnastics World Championships in 2030. So we're excited to go back to that. There is a new documentary out, which already I was like, I'm going to bawl my eyes out through this entire thing. It's called The Gymnasts of Fisherman Colony. And it is a documentary about a gymnastics team, a girls' gymnastics team in Pakistan. And it is going to Tribeca and Tribeca Film Festival. And it has backing from Malala and Mariska Hargitay, who's an actress who's been on.
Mariska Hargitay.
What's her name? Mariska? I don't know.
You will never. The SVU people will come for you. The SVU people will come for you so hard if you mispronounce her name.
Hargitay.
Mariska. Yeah.
Mariska. Because her mom was murdered, right? This is why it's part of why she's like so in the like murder crime TV shows, but actually do something in real life, right? Because her mom was like, oh no, her mom fought the guy off. She made a how do I know this? She made a documentary about like some guy.
That's the least surprising thing. You know the backstory, and I know what their actual name is. That's our whole deal. That's the whole thing.
That's this show in a nutshell. Yeah. Either her mom was murdered or she, I don't remember the details except like she made a documentary about it. And so I love that they're doing this. And it looks beautifully shot, beautifully put together. So I'm really excited to see this and see how this team continues to. It's exciting to see gymnastics getting more attention everywhere. The other thing that's happening is the men's 84 team, the U.S. team that won gold in 1984, the boycotted Olympics in L.A. They are getting their own documentary, The Summer of Gold. It's by 24-time Emmy winner Nick Nanton. It's going to be presented in Cannes, and they're looking for. It's currently in production. Release date summer 2028, just ahead of the LA Olympics. I think this is great because that was a huge moment for men's gymnastics in 84. And I remember there was a lot of fun gymnastics at 84 men's. We got the crazy double side flip rollout. Never forget. My favorite skill of that entire Olympics. We had Hottie McHottie, what's his face? American Anthem.
Mitch Gaylord?
Mitch Gaylord.
Hottie McHottie, what's his face?
Bart and Mitch Gaylord had their own movies, you guys. 2 men's gymnasts. When are we getting? We had documentaries. Shane Wiskus, never forget. But, we haven't done a movie like that.
Win gold.
Yes.
Maybe you want a movie.
I do want to mention
also,
the erase. Con, that's what I said. Cons. Did I say cons, not con?
There was an S at the end.
But isn't it like the south of France, and in the south of France, they pronounce the whole
Yeah, that's why I
word?
didn't say anything in the moment, because I was like, I don't feel 100% with my French pronunciation because it's sans. But
Sans is the right way to say it. Oh my God, when people say sans, you know who says sans is fact checker. Every time he says it, I'm like, oh.
Well, if you're saying it as an English loan word versus if you're trying to say the French word.
Yeah, I mean, it is sans serif, but that's not the same as sans because it's a French word.
Why not?
But you know what? There's certain things that I can't stand when people say with an accent or like call things. I'm like, you're not in Hawaii.
Like Italian restaurant syndrome. Yeah.
Yes, like I'm like we're here, but then again,
But we do that all the time with gymnast names, though,
right?
Because you get the shit either way,
right? And either way, like people either have no idea what you're talking about because its pronunciation is completely different than how it's spelled, or they're mad at you for not pronouncing it right. So there's no winning, and so I would just like to say, can we all just agree on sans? It sounds nice.
It does. It sounds nicer.
Right. Shout out to the Iranian women's trampoline team who made history at Asian Championships by getting a silver medal. This is the country's first official international medal in women's gymnastics since the 1979 revolution. And this comes at such an important time in their history. So congratulations to them and wishing you guys peace. Don't forget that Melanie is back at French Championships this week, and so is Andrade later this month at the Pan Am Championships, but she's only doing vault. So don't get your hopes up for the triple with Yurchenko, Spencer.
I'll allow it, but if she's going to do anything, it should be vault. So I'll allow it.
And now, let me crack my fingers and prepare. Spencer, it's time for GymCastic Fixes Gymnastics, Part 2, 2.0 again.
Okay. We've only done this once before?
Well, it's ongoing.
I mean, we fixed gymnastics really every,
It's constant.
Okay, so tell me about why, let's start with why you felt the overwhelming urge to do this right now. Because I did get a text where you were like, you were like, Naomi Osaka, we have to do a podcast about how we fix gymnastics. And I was like, okay, I don't super understand, but I'm in.
Yes.
So let me know yeah.
Okay. So let's define the problem. Okay, well, here's what happened.
Okay,
I watched the clips of Naomi Osaka, who is a tennis player who's very, very good. And she walked out onto the tennis court of clay in full walking the runway haute couture, if you will, or haute couture. And it was gorgeous.
Howdy couture.
Howdy couture. And she removed, first she like started warming up. Then she, what? Also, breaking news, Kyla Ross and Caitlin Branson have just been promoted to associate head coaches at Arkansas. That wasn't already a given. You should always have, I feel like Kyla Ross should be the co-head coach, but I bet she didn't want to do it. So anyway, Kyla's like math, I like math, and I like bars, and don't ask me to do all the other stuff. Because she's focused. All right, back to another Asian superstar. Who are we talking about?
Naomi Osaka. You were giving me, you saw the dress and you were, this is what
Naomi Osaka. So first she removes like the top half of it. And so she's in a giant skirt and warming up with this amazing gold, outfit. And then she takes the bottom, the skirt off, and like her whole tennis outfit is amazing. And I was like, these are the viral moments we need in gymnastics that don't have to come from gymnastics, but come from the runway that is sports. Like all the teams have, I don't know if the men do this, but because obviously I don't pay attention to those, but the women's professional teams have like a runway. What do they call it in movies? Like a red carpet for the athletes to come in and be filmed walking in for their competitions.
The men's sports just have a tunnel.
Right, which is like...
You have to pretend to be too cool for it, or you have to be wearing like a full suit, and it's one or the other.
Fact checker informs me that the NFL, it's a thing for the players to come in and show off their fashion. Some players are very well known for their outfits. Finally, the boys are catching up, like Joe Burrow, whoever that is. So this is the kind of stuff I watched this and I was like, I am sick of the gymnasts not having autonomy and control over what they do, and the FIG, now known as World Gymnastics, controlling everything. And on top of that, like in tennis, the best players play against each other, and we don't have that necessarily in gymnastics. This is the biggest thing. Like, how many times have Simone and Andrade actually competed against each other?
As you presented this concept, I was like, that is a good point. People don't, like the top gymnasts don't compete against each other. So I had to count 5. So I got 2016 Olympics, 2018 Worlds, 2021 Olympics, 2023 Worlds, 2024 Olympics. 5 times across 9 years of their senior careers. You had 2 of the best ever, and you only got them competing at the same time at the same competition that many times is such a missed opportunity to me.
Right.
And kind of something I hadn't really crystallized. Yeah. I was like, they only competed against each other 5 times. How are you thinking you're creating an actual a sport that has competitions in it that people are actually interested in if these people are only competing at the same time together once every 2 years, essentially?
Right. Like in tennis, how many times do the top people compete against each other? Like multiple times per year, right?
I mean, if you're dominant, dozens.
Oh, see, there you go.
Because you will probably if you're if you're both making the final of every Grand Slam and the Tour Championships at the end of the year, that's 5. You have all these tournaments during the year. So yeah, I mean, you should be playing the top players if they're dominant are playing against each other all the time.
Right. And I'm not saying we should do exactly what tennis does, because obviously tennis has problems, like the fucking uniforms. What? Remember when they banned the
You were just talking about how much you like Naomi Osaka's.
I loved her outfit, but remember when they banned the unitard? Meanwhile, Germany is like, we're innovating, and everyone's gonna like it. And that's the one good thing gymnastics did. That they were like, yes, you want to do that. You want to wear a unitard, whereas tennis was like, no, wear mini skirts so we can see your underpants. Don't get me started on tennis. Anyway, right now the way it is countries compete against each other, but not necessarily the best individuals. And some examples of this that I was looking up, I was like, when are all the times I was raging because someone didn't make the team? And so the whatever final didn't actually include the best gymnast. So I was like, Mai Murakami, 2017 floor world champion. And then she was left off the 2019 team. So we didn't have the world champion from 2 years prior at that World Championships, and she would go on to place 2 more times on floor. Sacramone not making the 2012 Olympic team. Paseka, but here's the thing: the floor final. Paseka won a vault final. Paseka
For
won.
a second, I was going to be like, Paseka won a floor final.
Didn't she roll on her head? Wait, who was that?
She has one of my favorite fake wolf turn rollouts ever.
Oh, that's right. But Paseka, you guys, shout out to her for showing up and making the teams because she won the medals. But some of the worst form ever in recorded vault history. If Sacramone was there, she would have won a medal on vault. Like that's EB, Elizabeth Price, 2016. Didn't make 2012. Sorry. 2012 didn't make the team.
We're still on 2012. That was the whole issue because there were like 78 billion good vaulters in the United States in 2012, and they were like, "Oh, EB, we don't need this."
Like it could have been a sweep of all the medals on vault, but it wouldn't have been because we know what happened. And Home Slice from Romania came in, did a beautiful vault when Murray fell down. Is Basha, who seems very nice. Atler not making the 2000 Olympic
Don't have to say any more words than Atler. Yeah.
That's it. Like Jordan Weber not making the all-around final in 2012. That's like a controversial take. She made the competition. She didn't make the final, but like we're the best all-arounders in the world in that final. No.
Right. And then same thing to Gabby Douglas 4 years later.
Right. Exactly. So, and I think about the time that like Epke Zonderland, our Dr. Highbar, who once did, never forget, high bar on a barge because Netherlands thing for the Queen and King. He remember the time that he had to like almost kill himself to do like 3 events so he could go to the Olympics, and then Jeffrey Vamis, who's also incredible gymnast. He had to basically sue the federation and be like, you didn't follow your own rules. I should have this spot. It was like a huge mess. So this gets into
problem what's your solution that you want to fix this?
So federations have too much control, and the 2 per country rule is a problem when it comes to countries competing against each other because it eliminates the possibility for the best in the world to compete against each other, because the best in the world might be 2 countries and you want to fill up all 5 spots with those because they are the best in the entire world. So the federations have too much control. It's hard to follow who's winning and why and who's ranked anywhere because the World Cup ranking thing is points and like I just want to.
No one goes to them. Yeah,
right. And now more women go because you can get things named after you and stuff, but it's still like you get so hard to watch them. They're a mess. And gymnasts don't have a way to profit from their gymnastics, not their looks, not their marketability, but their gymnastics. No one can live off of going to World Cups.
No.
I mean, I don't know where you can win. I don't know where you could. The training cost more than what you win at a World Cup. So let's start with the competition. How do we fix the competition system so that, and just imagine a world where the Olympics, the IOC doesn't matter, the FIG doesn't matter, World Gymnastics, individual federations don't matter. We're creating a system. The whole goal is get the best gymnasts to compete against each other. Doesn't matter what country, doesn't matter if they're all from one country. How do we do that? So what would you start with?
Well, I think some of the issue is because I know you're very anti-team, and then I bristle because I'm like, the team final is the best part. So I don't want to get rid of, I don't want to get rid of, the World Championships team final, the Olympics team final, Continental Championships. And so there's always going to be a part of that where the national federations have to select a team. Like, we can want all of our favorite gymnasts to be at a competition, but at a certain point, you have to pick a team, and some people are going to be left off that team.
But it doesn't have to be a federation that does that.
Well, okay, but it has to be someone. It has to be some system to decide. My point, I think the point I want to make is, I think everything has become so samey in that every competition has to be follow the same rules or everything has to be the same thing. Like I complain about how the World Challenge Cups also do a like 2 per country in terms of even the entry. Like each country can only enter 2 people per country on each event. And I'm like, okay, I get that you want to do 2 per country at some events, encourage encourage diversity of countries, grow programs. All of those are really positive desires. Not every single competition in the entire gymnastics competition in the entire world has to be governed by 2 per country. You could have different things. Not every competition in the world has to be a team competition, which we do have. We have, apparatus World Cups. We used to have all around World Cups, which I miss. They don't have those anymore. But you can have, I think the way for me is in terms of getting the best gymnasts competing against each other is having like different types of competitions. You have a tour that's just an individual tour where you are competing as an individual. And that's where you eliminate the federation control because you can just compete as an individual, get your points. And then when it comes to your continental championships, your world championships, you have a federation that's naming a team in whatever way they want to, but not everything has to be the same format or styled the same way. There can be times where the federation does not have control. And you're just, as you mentioned, as we talked about before, Serena Williams being like, I'm going to come back because I want to. No one's telling me I can or have to. I don't have to get anyone's permission except enter the WADA drug test. I can just I'm going to compete at this.
Yep. And I think like what you're talking about, like a tour, we don't mean like an exhibition tour. We mean
we absolutely do not mean an exhibition tour.
We mean the way it works in other sports where you are gonna compete. Like a surfing has this, skateboarding has this. You're gonna compete in this set of competitions over this amount of time. And there's ways to do this. The thing we have to eliminate is the part where the federations are like, you can compete or you can't compete in this. Like I have control over where you can compete and you have to ask permission. And part of that might be like, oh yeah, I'm going to give up my stipend. I don't have to be on national team. I'm going to go do this. And you hopefully, this is the kind of system where we create where you can get paid enough. So I thought a lot about the tennis model because I was obsessed with Naomi Osaka's outfit. I
love your transition into someone who wants to talk about tennis because the number of years I have wanted to talk about tennis and Jessica's like, snore, boo, I hate it. This is just delightful to me. But anyway, keep going.
The tennis itself is super boring. They just hit the ball back and forth. Like, I don't know if you noticed. Like, it's super boring.
It's the most satisfying thing. It makes my God.
And there's all the sound effects. But I do love that tunnel where they have the camera so you can see what goes on while they're walking in and out. And I do love the walk.
Just like the thing the players are trying to get rid of because they were like, we would like some privacy, please, which I absolutely understand.
Yeah, and I love the part where they yell at the judge, which I feel like gymnastics needs more of that. You should be able to argue your point with the judges. And I also like the part where at the end, they're like, we don't care what country you're from. What's the most entertaining team competition we can put together? And then they mic them up and they play like doubles and they like chit chat and talk shit.
Go for exhibitions and things. Yeah.
So fun. Like that would be so fun to do gymnastics. So, okay. So to make the perfect model of this, no country limits. You do some kind of world ranking system. So you have to attend. And this is the thing, like I looked at this and I was like, gymnasts need like 6 to 8 weeks off, but we want them to have to compete more than like 3 or 4 times a year because that's too little. So 6 weeks off and you can pick, you don't have to do 3 in a row or whatever. And you don't have to do all around. But I think 6 weeks off is like the minimum between competitions. So you get,
I disagree. I feel like you want to look at NCAA, and you can say the NCAA gymnasts and every one of them will be like, we compete too many weeks in a row, but you have a season and then you have an off season. And so rather than I would design it more like this is the tour season is a couple months during the year. And then you're off and you have breaks. You have like an intense period where you're competing more often in just a consistent period, and then you have breaks rather than spreading it out so much it's like all year long.
There used to be an elite season. It wasn't all year like it is now, and it was changed because of the injury levels that people couldn't keep up with it. Just like there used to be an individual world championships, it wasn't team every single time. So I agree with you, but I think if we do that, because obviously we're gonna do this, it's gonna come true. We have to make it so you don't have to do all around at every competition, and we have to change the landing surfaces. So it has to always be on a podium, so it's more forgiving, and there have to be allowances for mats like there are in NCAA, because you can't. I think otherwise it's going to be like, people are just going to get hurt so much. So there has to be something that gives them more. We have to be able to limit, or the training facilities have to have resi pits. So you're not doing any hard landings. It can't be a competition floor where you're training.
To this point, if we're saying this is the athletes are entering themselves and they have their own autonomy, that allows for you don't have to compete everything every week. Yeah, because you're deciding what you want to do.
Yeah.
You compete what you want, and you don't compete what you don't want or feel healthy enough to do or comfortable enough to do. So you can kind of just say that.
Yeah. So that's the thing, like autonomy, they can save their bodies, but I do like the idea of a season, and they compete often. But I just want to make sure that their health and safety comes first. But I also think I like the idea that like in tennis, you have a ranking, and then if you are pregnant and then you come back from that, or you're injured, and you come back from that, you don't lose your ranking. It's not a punishment if you're taking care of your body so you can do your sport. And this is so important because I feel like so many athletes have talked about, like, there's the famous Nike case where the sponsored athlete was like, I had a kid and everything was canceled. Like, how are we supposed to have longevity? You lose all the star power of that athlete. And I think about this when Simone said that she wanted her Athleta. She moved to Athleta from Nike because she wanted a sponsor who would stay with her entire life and all the stages of her life. And I feel like that was like a fuck you nuts, you Nike and your pregnancy. That's what the subtext that I read into it.
Sure.
But yeah, you want the stars to stay around, so they need more options. And then, yeah, I think obviously you have to cut off if you're having like the big finals or the Grand Slam or whatever it is on the tour. What do they call the big? Yeah, the final thing.
The majors. There are 4 majors.
Yeah.
So
there's like 4 of those, and you have to cut off who makes it to those. But also I want it to be like, yeah, you qualified elite in your country, like anyone can show up and compete and try to get ranked. Like it doesn't have to be, you don't have to wait for like your country sends you to this. It can be anyone, which then I worry that they won't rank people elite because they don't want them to go compete in something like this. So we might need another system.
But it should be just you can show. Like you don't have to go through any other avenue. And also you could just do this and not worlds or anything. If you are like, I hate my federation, I want to have nothing to do with it, I'm just going to do the individual tour and not go to worlds and not go to continental championships and not be part of that, you could just do that too.
Exactly. The most important thing is like, we don't have to start Fakistan, the country where anyone can compete. It doesn't matter where you're from. Anyone can compete in these competitions. You don't have to appease a federation or go by their rules. And then the majors would be the most beautiful places in the world with the best facilities who offer to host. So we just pick but it has to be actually around the world. So there has to be Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, New Zealand. And don't forget us. Yeah. Put it somewhere.
Jessica already has more than 4. You don't have to do, no one says there only have to be 4. That's just what a lot of other sports have. You can have more. I feel like, the Paris World Cup, have they earned the great crowd there? Have they earned a major? But has Solo? I would love an Italy-based major, but then is that too geographically close? And like London at the O2, they've had great events there. Glasgow has had great events. See, this is the problem. And we don't want them in just like maybe the places where there's oil money that are going to pay for it, but no one's going to show up.
That's the thing. I feel like there has to be you have to guarantee an audience of actual fans. It can't be like, oh, you just bring the military in to sit in the stands and whistle yell disgusting things at the Brazilian team.
Because I also want both a Tokyo or anywhere in Japan and a China major.
Yes.
I want an Australia one. I want a US one. I want a Brazil one. So we have way too many. So, we'll have multiple events. They don't all have to be of the same tier. They don't all have to be of the same level, but
But the most important thing I think is it can't be anywhere where you have a history of only selling 8 tickets like Doha, which was like 7 expat kids running around the stands and no one else was there. The other thing I like is the idea of wild cards that are voted on by fans, but it has to be something like there's a local favorite. So if there's someone who, has like, let's say, Simone is like 50 and she's like, I'm not doing this, but you have a fun thing where she can like, do something chill. Like they do that in the tennis. I don't know what it's called, but you get
you have wild cards. And then at a certain point, like it's like, all right, you've had too many. But yes, you can get a wild card into an event, and that's not like voted on by the fans or anything, because oh my god. But tournaments have certain number of wild cards, and they can give them to a big draw because like,
right.
Venus Williams is coming back. Obviously, people are going to buy tickets to see them, or otherwise it goes to like local young player from this country who we want to give experience to.
Right, exactly. Because the thing about doing the wild card is like, yeah, this might not be a gymnast who's going to win the competition now, but this is a fan favorite who people love to watch. Like, I feel like a Danusha Francis could have, could compete forever if there was you just want to see these beautiful, unique skills kind of a person.
Or it's like, Chuso didn't actually get the qualifying score on vault this year, but it's Chuso, so people are going to want to see her, kind of thing. Where you give Chuso a wild card because it's Chuso, even if like, the cutoff was a 12-9 on vault, you got a 12-8-2 or something,
And this is the thing, like I feel like what the FIG forgets is that sports are entertainment. Sports are entertainment. Nobody needs sports in the world. It's great. But
they also forget that sports are sports sometimes, because like, where are the scores?
Oh my god, this is the other thing we have to get to. But yeah, like you need
so much. I mean, this is 5 episodes. There's no way we can. Yeah,
I know, but okay. So the other thing I want to talk about is just some other things that can catch up. So you guys feel free. We can do a part 2 of this. Give us this will probably be the entire behind the scenes this week, Friday noon Pacific. All of your letters about how you would structure this, because the main thing is, how do you get the best gymnasts in the world to compete against each other, and no country limits and no federation involvement? That's the most important thing. So I have a very long fix-it list in addition to this, where I looked at basically what are other pro leagues doing and what are other sports doing? What do they have as like a baseline that they're using if they're not pro? And like, we have allegedly robot judging, but it's not really used. It never has really been used. I want to see LiDAR used, like the X Games. So we have that in the SEC network, uses like how high are the vaults and how high is a release on bar. But we need that integrated into the judging system. So it is height and distance are part of the scoring, not just a graphic. And it's real time, you can see it. Because that's another thing
allegedly height and distance are part of the scoring now, but it is not a clear, it's not in no way an objective standard. Yeah.
And this is one of all the things we can make absolutely objective by using computers, LiDAR, AI, AR, which is augmented reality, which is, I want a lot of augmented reality. That's mostly my list.
I want to get rid of all of that garbage.
It doesn't have to be in real time. Your replay? You don't like it for a replay?
It makes me feel the bar fees.
Oh, Spence.
I really don't. I haven't like a extreme distaste for it.
Could they change the graphics, like make them somehow more appealing to you?
Stop it is what they could do.
Okay. The other thing we talked about earlier is like knowing what the fuck is happening. This is one of the most important things in gymnastics that is such a constant problem. So we have to be able to follow the scores. We have to see who's winning. We need to know the standings. We need an interpretation of the standings. So like we only get sometimes at the European meets that pay for the Hogwarts, ball containers where it's like, bloop, 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 bloop. This person has now gotten a higher score than the other person. Real-time statistics integrated into
you need it on the screen. Like all the time. Not just like, the big board is we're waiting for the score. It's like, I need to know what's happening, and you need to value. That is you need to value the sport part of it as much as or more, because it is a sport, as much as anything else, which is, one of my biggest issues lately with gymnastics, because I've been getting very frustrated. But it's like one of those things where, when you're feeling burnt out, when you're feeling frustrated, you could try to go back to like, okay, why do I like this? What do I originally like about gymnastics? What was appealing to me? And for me, it's like, okay, well, we're going to get into another story now. This is going to take forever, but I don't care. So a couple weeks ago, I went to they're doing a national tour of The Sound of Music again. Saw it. Wonderful. Had a great time. First thing, once it ended, I was like, okay, item 1, rank the Von Trapp children from best to worst. Who won Von Trapp children? That was like the most important thing. And it reminded me of like what appeals to me about gymnastics in the first place. This is like, I love arts, and the only thing that's missing is the no one gets ranking points at the end. And then there's that like Monday, the ranking points from that weekend's shows come out, and that should be how it is. And so I'm like, yes, always remember the core of art should have a winner, which is what the sport is about and its main appeal. But that's what the sport is. And
it is.
It should never be like, neither of those things should be forgotten. You can't ever lose one for the other. And if you're ever forgetting the score part, then you've missed it. If you're forgetting this shouldn't just be like clunk, 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 here's another vault that's the same. That's also missing if you miss the art part. If you miss, this is supposed to be interesting. It's supposed to be visually interesting and visually engaging. You miss it, but you can't forget about either of them.
Yes. Yep. And that, like, for me, it's like the stats, I find them interesting, but I need data visualization. I need like graphics. And that makes it like, I love what the Russian system is doing. We've talked about this so many times when they have like, here are the skills that this gymnast is going to try to get credit for, and then there's a little bing and it makes a check mark when they do it and get credit in real time. Those are the kind of things that I think would like help. And I want to talk about some of the things that can modernize the visuals that other sports are using right now. I want to make a massive caveat before I say these things. All of these systems need massive security enforcement and guardrails to prevent abuse and general creepiness in gymnastics. And this is also for all sports. They need this. So all of them need that first, and they need monitoring, and then they can be implemented. So, 20 years ago, it was like we got the multi-cam view of, remember like the Kohei Maroney comparison video where you get the 180 view and it turns, like, we just got that for the first time ever at NCAA championships at this past year. Like, that's been like standard for so long. So I want to talk about the Arcturus. Do you think that's how you say it? Arcturus system. So this system creates a real-time digital twin. So it is freaky. It can create a 360 close-up cameras. So 360, really like any view above, below, full circle of the sports happening and very close up. So right now it looks a little weird. Like you can tell they're created. Figure skating looks the best actually. But the camera view can be from anywhere. So you can get a view that literally no one has except the athletes. They're the only ones that have this view. So this is something that I think would lend itself so well to gymnastics, and you could do so many cool things with it. Especially just helping people understand how freaking terrifying gymnastics is. Like, it's so scary. Like, watch how high they are and how they land. The other thing that's really cool, and I don't want to support Meta. Do you know they're going to start charging now for all the socials? I have a lot of problems with Meta, but they have and have had for a very long time this X Stadium agreement with the NBA. So it's virtual reality seats. So you can buy a ticket for a seat and it feels like you're actually sitting right on the court, for example, for the basketball. And they also get behind the scenes access to like behind the scenes spaces. There's a whole tunnel you walk through. You can invite friends so you can have like a watch together experience. And it's first person 180 viewing. So not 360 like the other system. But the VR thing is like, can you afford a front row ticket to gymnastics at the Olympics? No one can afford that. But can you experience it in VR and feel like you're sitting right there? Yes. The other one that has this kind of thing, but is like 1,000 times better, is the Apple Vision Pro. and the Apple Vision Pro. So both of these, Apple Vision Pro and the Meta one, you use the like VR headset thing. Have you ever worn one of those, Spencer? You look like you're gonna throw up now.
I hate all of this so much. It's like flames are coming out of my head as you're talking. I hate it so much.
Why do you hate it?
I think it's gross. Just go to the meet. Watch it.
You can't.
Or
no
watch it on TV.
To China or Brazil to watch.
Or watch it on normal TV that's not vomity or like creating something fake that didn't even happen.
Okay, but let me show you this next thing that Apple Vision Pro does. And I remember the first time I saw this, and it was a football college game, and I was like, so trigger warning, we're going to talk about ball sports, you guys. It's horrible, but we can't avoid this. So they have AR and VR together. So augmented reality, where it will make a data visualization for you. It'll create like a fake, gymnastics floor. It doesn't do this yet, but I'm just going to use gymnastics. When you can see who is it that's running to make the goal, what's the trajectory of the ball, that kind of stuff. And then you can add, if we look at the other screen, if you're watching along, we'll put links to this so you guys can see it. They also have this thing where you can put up a bunch of data screens. So real time, like if you go to an NBA game, which I've been to one now, thank you to my sponsors for sending me, you get real time statistics. And I was like, wait, why don't we use any of these screens in gymnastics? This is what they're for. But you can see those while you're watching. So you get to know about the athlete, about their statistics, about the scoring, and you can have multiple gymnastics meets up at once. Which is literally our life goal as a couple was to have 2 TVs. When could we afford and have the space to have 2 TVs? So one of us, I could watch 2 gymnastics meets at once, or we could have, one could play video games and the other one could watch sports. This is international relationship world peace. So, what I love about what the Apple Vision Pro is it has all the things: VR, AR, stats, watch with friends. You can have your text messages up. Obviously the Meta headset and the Apple Vision Pro, they're very expensive, but they're less expensive than flying to Europe for, especially now, to watch a meet, or trying to get a front row ticket to the Olympics for these things. And it could be a better experience. I also love that you can put 4 meets up at once and like move where they are. I haven't tried the Apple Vision Pro yet.
You can do that now. It's called a computer.
You can have a bunch of different screens on, but all the added context of the competitions you don't get. You have to do it. This is one integrated
because
system.
The broadcasts are bad.
Right. That's the whole thing. Like, for us, and we know as gymnastics fans, it's always been so hard for us to do this.
You have to have live scores up at the same time.
Right. We always have to know, like, where can you actually even get the scores for this? Like, where are the freaking scores? American Classic is coming up. Jade is competing. Where are the scores going to be? There's like no link for the meet even yet. We have to have always had to know and have a million things bookmarked so we can try to find the scores. This not only has the scores and has all the competitions for you. You don't have to buy, like, we both have the most gigantic computer screen you can buy, basically, so we can have 700 windows open at once. Like, not everyone wants to do that. I mean, most people are used to it.
I will say, if you do it, though, you'll never go back. You won't be able to go back ever.
Guys, we both got gaming screens, and it has changed our lives. It's the best thing ever, because you can have everything open at once. But this is like, if you don't want to do the work, it's done for you. And why don't we have this in gymnastics? So I really like other sports. This could be applied to gymnastics. It could be done for gymnastics if gymnastics stopped just giving away the sport and actually valued it for what it's valued. Because right now it's just like, you're that whatever network. Yeah, we'll just throw in gymnastics for free. No, you need to pay for gymnastics because it's one of the top sports and has top viewership and beats things like basketball. That's a real statistic. I'm not making it up. The other thing, okay, now we'll move on to things that you're really going to hate, Spencer. The hype.
I mean, my general sentiment is I would be annoyed if gymnastics put a lot into something so such a shallow required developments versus actually improving things in the sport. Like less style, more substance is what I would like them to do.
Okay, so you
I
wouldn't
think
want
this is not important. Like,
you
if you're
wouldn't.
talking about what they need to fix, all of this is like 20th, 90th on the list.
Okay, I want the statistic stuff. I think, and
But yeah, I mean, there are some score things, absolutely, but I
and the
think those could be
AR.
integrated into the broadcast pretty straightforwardly.
Yeah, but you don't listen to what they say. Like they say this stuff sometimes, and you have it muted because you can't stand the commentators. This is the other thing. Like,
put it on the screen.
For you, you'd rather just see it on the screen, yeah. But in a way that it's not a giant tower that we can't see. Okay, the hype. Okay, you're gonna hate this first one. You know that we need alternative broadcasts in gymnastics where you actually, you're like, do you want to broadcast this? And you can buy the rights like Nickelodeon has done with the NFL. So they've had SpongeBob be the commentator for football. They've had Monsters Inc.
If it's alternative, if it's optional,
it's alternative.
Whatever, do your own thing. Yeah.
Yes. So like they animate. The thing that I love about Nickelodeon, which I'm always saying this is what we should do. They basically like animate the parts that you should be paying attention to. So like if someone's so let's say someone's landing, there's like little animations that come out of the ground, like, wow, that was amazing. If they're concentrating before their dismount, there's a little like, sweat beads come off. Like it's fun. And like the character's hilarious. I don't like when they have the little kids because Disney kids are weird. I don't like it.
We're back to ranking the Von Trapp children again.
When they grow up and have careers like, that's fine. Like I'll watch them when like 20, but it's just too professional little kids that creep me out. But I think this would be so fun. The recap videos, like we don't get. Sometimes the FIG does this, but we don't get recap videos. We used to do them for meets, but we are previews for finals. But we only have rights to world championships, podium training. So we're doing here's a preview with not competition routines because they won't allow anyone to use those. So I would love it if they had an allowance for journalists to actually do some kind of here's footage you can use, even if it's super short, you can use a minute of footage of actual competition to do a recap because otherwise it's all just PR. If it's not journalists doing this, it is not going to actually focus on things that people are interested in. Like people that have the questions about. There's a controversial moment. Like those things need an outside view of it. Like if we were doing this, like if you were doing the Varna World Cup recap and you had 1 minute and you use the competition footage, what would you focus on, Spencer?
Oh, the Koper World Cup that we just talked about? Yeah. I would the out of bounds. I would my highlights would have been like, that out of bounds, that wolf turn grab. None of the sticks. No, I don't care. Good ones. No, not interesting. Just falls all the time.
And there could be some like, here are the champions and here are the funny things that happened. Like, 2 versions, both 30 seconds.
That's what the fixing gymnastics, the gymnastics network that we have. Spencer has a show just called All Falls All the Time, where it's just all like silly falls and no good routines.
Oh my God. And gymnasts would love that because it's so relatable because that's basically your entire practice. I also would like to see more fan voting initiatives. Like I talked about how they had the thing with the wild cards, like a fan votes in a wild card who can qualify to our fantasy, gymnastics league. Like, USAG had people voted on the name of the mascot. Like that's low stakes stuff. Fan
voting should be low stakes though, right?
Well, I mean, something that has an actual impact though.
Oh, do you trust people that much? I sure don't.
Maybe
they're so bad.
A fan advisory board where there's like a test ahead of time. And
I can get more on board. You know how I feel about social media. You should have to pass an exam before you're allowed to use it. Oh
my God. And there should be don't get started. Okay, the other thing, funding. So like right now, like how do you watch? You are a soccer pro league season ticket holder, right? And you watch the tennis.
Correct.
How do those athletes make money?
Sponsorships.
And what else?
Sponsorships.
And their actual playing.
It's not, unless you're famous, it's still pretty bad.
But they get paid for actually playing.
Yes, it's way better than gymnastics. They still
Right. But like the WNBA,
If we're talking about
now,
women's sports, it's not good enough.
right? Except I think the WNBA has gotten their new contract is very good because they're 6 figures minimums
But
to
that's still
start now.
not good enough.
No, it's not good enough. If you live in, somewhere really cheap, then maybe it is. I agree. They should be paid way more. But at least they're paid for actually doing the sport. So the opportunities for athletes to profit during the actual competition, not without making leotards ugly, this is very important.
Very, very important consideration.
Oh my God. Like the stuff they have on the Italian and Brazilian leotards, I'm like, what? I can't even see what you're doing. So you have 17 like laundry detergent and lottery advertisement logos on your leotard. Like it's too much. So we need athlete driven ownership models where they're part of ownership, community ownership models, like the Green Bays of Packers, Wisconsin, I think. Their football teams, they have there's like ownership for generations from the locals. The female specific equipment and apparel design, like Irish gymnastics and British gymnastics are doing these partnerships with a period education. They like have these little period kits. And they have people come into national team camp and do education on, training in your cycle. And there's a sports bra brand they've partnered with, and also education, like girls drop out because all of a sudden you have boobs and it hurts to do your sport. And it's embarrassing. Like what are the, sports bra brands that actually works for you? Collective bargaining agreements. Like right now with all these federations, like the gymnasts have one athlete rep effectively who's not paid to be at anything and is usually someone who just left the sport. So they're starting their career. They don't have any money. How are they supposed to fly to everything, be at everything? It's not a job. It's not a paid position. So it's hard unless they're a person that's constantly calling on the phone and has a work schedule where they can zoom into everything to be a part of something. That's their only person. They don't have a situation where they have a union or representation where they can argue for, childcare, parental support. They're, keep my funding. Like as a group, what do we decide on? And then the kinesthetic data. So, for example, the Fujitsu judging. That is a motion capture biomechanics, basically, right? And we know that Fujitsu has said they're using this to help, among other things, build robots, which is why I always joke about there's going to be a future army of Simone robots.
Killed by Simone, yeah.
Simone soldier robots who will, murder you in the most entertaining way that's ever been in your entire life. But they're using the kinesthetic data of the athletes, effectively their movement intellectual property, to bolster this private company, right? There is right now no option to license. I can't license my cartwheel to Fujitsu. It's beautiful. You'd love it.
Yeah, really, Fujitsu. Come on.
There's no option there's no enforcement mechanism to opt out of the Fujitsu system. So, in other words, even though Lili told me the American gymnasts were advised to opt out of the Fujitsu system, there's no one auditing, going to Japan, going through every single video, going to their spy database, and saying, so you didn't capture this, right? So that's another thing that, and every time we've asked the FIG about this at the competitions, we're like, so have you found a way to do this yet? Is there a system to pay the athletes for the intellectual property of their kinesthetic data that you're using? No, we've talked about it. Well, you've been talking about it for like 10 years now. The biggest one. So, okay, you know how all the universities are using, I want to talk about biological data. You will see athletes wearing a whoop. It's like a little black band, like on an ankle or their wrist. Like I have an Aura ring. There's, Fitbits and Apple Watches and all kinds of different things like that. At many universities, the athletes are given these to like help with their training. But there is an agreement essentially that this company is partnering with the university in order to, giving this stuff for free or at a discounted price in order to get the data to help with their research. The athlete is never told Do we're going to use, they're never told in this process, oh, this is going to benefit this private company. You should actually have rights, right? So these things can be amazing, right? There's like the wearable performance sensors that I talked about. There's also these concussion whiplash predictor things. And we know now that, concussion and whiplash are the biggest predictor of lower leg injuries like ACL tears and Achilles tears. And there is this thing that's like a headband that you can wear now that helps with this. And knowing, it's called Loop. You should probably be checked. It's not super ugly. It's big, but it's not hitting.
Is that their tagline? It's not super ugly.
Thing. So I was looking at a lot of these because I was like, someone has to have invented this thing, right? And this is something you could wear for gymnastics. I don't know if and it goes around your occipital area. And so I think it might actually stay on and withstand the G forces, but I would like to know if anybody's tried this in gymnastics. But I think this is a big pathway for something. We're talking about how can the athletes make money while they're doing their sport, the actual gymnastics, not I'm selling a patch on my butt for you to put your logo on, or, all these not gymnastics things. That's what we call
Don't give them any ideas.
But how can this is something you could potentially wear, like a Whoop you could wear while you're doing gymnastics. And then you could say, hey, I'm going to license my biological data to you. You can use this for this fee. Because think about the stuff that you can, elite gymnast biological data is a gold mine for research, predictive injury analysis, the pregnancy and postpartum performance research. There's so many gymnasts that have come back from pregnancy. So many athletes want to know about this. It's helped the menstruation cycle, inform training programs. There's so much more data about that, about which phase the most ACL tears happen in. And then you can actually, it can't just be, you don't have to go by the days. It was this day, because everyone's cycle's messed up and it depends on your stress and all that stuff. And, you can actually look at the data. I feel like this is something that's totally untapped in gymnastics, these kind of partnerships. And then you don't have to sell your face, which is...
Or you don't have to sell any of it.
You don't have to do anything. You can, whatever you want to do, but I want people to be able to make money off their actual gymnastics and their actual athletics, and not it be who's the hottest, they make the most money. And I know that'll never go away.
Changing the world one step at a time. Yeah.
I want to give a positive example of this, about how this is in fact possible. So the WNBA's new contract, which was negotiated, as you know, Spencer, with the help of a Nobel Prize winning economist. She helped negotiate their collective bargaining agreement. And among other things, players are getting back pay and they have a pension system. Their biological data, because they want it, right? It helps the players. They want this to be used because they get a benefit. The biological data can never be used for contract negotiation. So they can't pull up you don't sleep enough, and this is why you don't get enough injuries, so whatever. So or you have your period too much. Yeah. We see your endometriosis, and we are deleting your
period looks stupid. $1.
Why didn't you just get an IUD that stops your period like everybody else? Then we will give you the same money we're giving. I bet that's literally something. I have talked to gymnastics coaches, college coaches, who have said, oh yeah, we get everybody on the pill once they get on the team. You need everybody to be on the pill. You don't have to worry about pregnancy. You don't have to, as long as they actually use it correctly, and wait, the waiting period. But let's just manage this. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's IUDs now. So in the WNBA contract, the players own their data. They own their data, but they allow it to be used for university research, not for private research, like a lot of colleges are doing without the athletes knowing. And I like this because it's not some private tech bro who's creating an army of guards with shock collars on, and this is what they're using the biological data for the apocalypse. This is what I assume all the tech bros are doing. But it's if someone's going to do research at a university that benefits all people, then yes, you can use that. So we fixed it once again. You're welcome, everyone. Yeah, I mean, Denver is a great example. We talked this story earlier about Denver gymnastics. The gymnasts going to them for help. They're doing a study. It benefits the gymnasts. The gymnasts are giving data. Everybody, it's free university. Should be for everybody publishing a study. So yeah, we have one. Tell us what you guys think. Tell us how you would create a system where there's you have the best gymnasts are able to compete against each other. Newbies can break in, and they
not just able, but incentivized to compete against each other.
Yes,
without it being like putting like you're creating more injuries, yada yada yada.
Right, exactly. And so this, I mean, I imagine this would be a pro league because I don't see there would.
That's essential that they're making. I mean, part of this conversation is you're making your monies,
right? Because the FIG barely. I mean, the yearbook came out and it's like, yeah, how much is spent on for the actual athletes? Like, blink. That's a sound of one drop of water in the ocean.
One atom. Yeah. Yes, you're making money. An international professional tour should be what the sport is, especially since the NCAA doesn't care about amateurism anymore, right?
Yes, exactly. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. The teams. So yeah, there can still be teams in this. It's just whoever, there's some way of picking. It can be by country or by who's the most fun people to put together on a team. Like, can you imagine if at the end of this they play their final, the slam of bars, and then you're like, now it's time for, the Sunday fun day where we have a team of Jake Jarman, who's hilarious, Simone Biles, who's hilarious, Zoe Miller, the funniest
together a comedy team
ever. These are just a comedy team. And then someone who is another person we pair with them who is the opposite of all three of them, who are hilarious and say anything that's on their mind. And
you want someone to facial expression at them, like you guys, these guys,
like, oh my god,
these clowns. You need to put Leanne on their team to be like, you guys. You didn't stick and you needed to stick.
Can you guys stop giggling and dancing?
Stop giggling so that we could win this competition? Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about, team competitions, not based on countries, because countries are dumb and fake anyway. Make it the most fun.
What you're pitching is something curling just did, by the way. Rock League, right after the Olympics. They have it right after the Olympics with teams that they put together of all-stars.
Yes. I love that.
And it was right after the Olympics to try to, get in on the people are still paying attention to this.
Because people
always the hand wringing in gymnastics. It's like, oh no, but how do we hold on to these viewers who paid attention to gymnastics? Which most of them were never real fans to begin with. They just clicked like on something and aren't ever going to pay attention. 2, well, none of you compete again for another 9 to 18 months. So what do you think's going to happen? Of course, everyone's going to forget of you. No one kept competing.
Right.
It's almost like you could go right into your professional tour league.
I mean, a federation.
A couple times. Do what you want to do.
Yeah. I mean, a federation could do this. Like, U.S. tennis has some big tennis thing that they host, but it's...
the U.S. Open.
Oh, there you go.
This is the problem. How do we translate Jessica's interest in Naomi Osaka's dress into Jessica actually knowing things about the sport? That's what gymnastics has to figure out, though, right? Because there are so many people who are like, oh, I saw Jordan Childs and Simone Biles bow at Rebeca Andrade. I loved that. Like, love, share. And then I've never thought about it again. So how do you translate that person to someone who's actually going to buy a ticket? It's the whole issue. My thing is you do it through constant repetition. And you compete again and you get that again and you have a moment again and you're constantly exposed to it so that it's not just a one-off engagement. It's I'm actually paying attention to this. I feel like Jordan Childs' exposure in college gymnastics improved after she was on Dancing with the Stars. Mm-hmm. And the attendance improved. And I feel like there was, for people who watch that, which is not me, you spent more time with someone and you got to know them and you really developed. It wasn't just a one-off click. It was, you developed a fandom, a knowledge, an association, and then you wanted to see them. So that's how you kind of do it. And my feeling is you do it through a league season where you're seeing people and having new moments again and again and again, and not just every once in a while.
Yeah. I agree. And you get to know people and you know their backstories
Mhm.
and you feel a connection with them. This is why college gymnastics has such an advantage over elite. And so you need the alternative feed where the person, what we need is you don't need the analyst and um the, s- the commentator. You need a
Mhm.
third person who's just um the personal anecdotes person. That would be my job. Do you see that little
Mm.
scar on her wrist? Well, she got that because when she was little, she tried to break out of her room and she, and like that's how they put her into
Oh, I
gymnastics.
want to hear the rest of the story now. What were you
Oh,
going to
because
come up
they
with,
wouldn't
Jessica?
let her go
Oh,
outside and stay on the jungle gym. And so
oh yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
that's the whole thing, right? Those like little anecdotes.
And
And you have
I would
to,
replace that person with someone explaining what the deductions actually are for realsies.
and I would just put it on the screen so you can see it.
Too. Yeah.
We don't have to waste precious personal time with yeah. I mean, this is why documentaries and reality shows like the UFC didn't really go super, super popular until they did a reality show and they took all the fighters and they put them together and they trained together and then
Well,
people
yeah,
bought
no
in.
one will shut up about Formula One in the United States suddenly
Because
now.
of
And I
the
was like, I liked
documentary.
it better before you guys all saw this documentary and then wouldn't shut up about it.
Right. Because everyone's like loves because people care about people. This is
Ugh,
why. And I'm just like,
yeah,
oh my God,
this is
it's
why I
so
shouldn't have
heart-wrenching.
ideas. No one should come
Ugh.
to me for ideas because I'm like, no one wants to hear about people, right? You want to know the numbers. This is more. Okay, I have more now.
Oh, good.
In terms
Tell
of
me.
fixing gymnastics, because I think it was kind of getting into this, but gymnastics is unique in terms of there are so many kind of disparate things about it to enjoy that are the entryway for different types of people. Like for me, and something I always get a look when people ask me, like, how did you get involved in gymnastics? Because you didn't do it as a young person. And I explain, like, the code of points. And they're always like, that's wrong. That's not the right answer. And there's like a judgment. But I'm like, that's the actual reason. Like you would hear Tim Daggett be like, they got this big old complicated book of numbers. And I'm like, yes, tell me more about your big complicated book of numbers. Like this is the part that I like about it. And that's totally different than the entry for many gymnasts when they're really young is basically like shiny, sparkly Leo want to wear. And then they're like, oh, I
Or
guess I like gymnastics now. Or
flipped
I'm
off
just
the
like,
couch into a
Jessica flipped
table
off the couch and
broke.
almost died. And they were like, stop. It's that, or it's like, I was impressed by this. Or I was like, and I'm like, I don't care if it was hard. If I wanted to watch something hard, I'd watch coal mining. Like I care what are the scores? How are we? And has the art appeal. It has the numbers appeal. There are so many different possible appeals. And I think a lot of what gymnastics is doing incorrectly in the United States is trying to assume that sport is not appealing and triangulate how you're presenting it in terms of a way that you think might connect with people. And I'm like, take the reins off, like do less, just stop trying to organize the way you think this might be appealing to someone and let the thing that you might not think is that appealing actually sit there and breathe because it might be appealing to someone else.
Yes. This is why I feel like we need to cover all of our bases. Like we need the statistics and the data nerd stuff on the screen so that everybody can see it and it's always there available if that's what you want to enjoy. And then we need the like shut up and just watch the gymnastics part. And then we need all the personal backstory stuff. And also I like the idea. Remember that World Championships? Was it 2003, I think, in Anaheim, where you could listen to two different broadcast streams. Like they had the in-house radio with like Shannon and John Roethlisberger, and then there was something else. There was two different ones, and I feel like that is what we're missing. We can have the absolute data nerd version, which is there's kind of like what in Vertius is doing, is just like stats, and the screen. Like if you click on the YouTube, it is all the stats on the screen the whole time, very big. Yeah, and then we need basically the gossip column version. But with the buy-in of the gymnasts and telling the stories they want told in the way they want them told. Like, what is important?
Not just full lies?
Like, yeah. Like you can have an opportunity to control the narrative. What is the narrative you want people to know? Yeah, like Morgan could have been like, shut the fuck up about my glasses. Like, finally. Okay, you've asked that for long enough. Okay, we have one letter to pick you up and help you enjoy and feel motivated. But first, wait, really quick, an update from behind the scenes this week. Amanda Borden committed to Georgia before going pro and going to ASU.
Oh, okay.
I forgot about that because a bunch of gymnasts from her gym all committed to Georgia and then went pro back then. So, okay. Clarity on skill name and podcast love.
Becky says, I have a question for Jessica and Spencer. If the code of points in regards to eponymous skills counts a double tuck, full in, and full out as the same exact skill, then isn't the Biles 1 on floor the exact same skill as the Dos Santos double Arabian in laid out position? I love you guys so, so much. I have recently lost 13 kilograms, and next week I'm starting my first adult gymnastics class. I'm really scared people will laugh at me because I'm 46, and the last time I performed was in the mid-90s, 10 years before the vault was even changed. I have been strengthening my wrists by doing handstands, shoulder taps against the wall, but I hope my muscles have a really long memory and not dementia. I'm very excited but scared, so I just want to say thank you for helping me come back to this beautiful sport. I had nothing to do with gymnastics since I quit as a level 8 in 1994. I only started watching again during Paris. Would you believe I didn't even know who Simone Biles was? And that's no word of a lie. I had nothing to do with the sport since I quit. So during Paris, I started watching again, and I could not believe how much the sport has changed. I had so much catching up to do, so many COPs to study, and then I couldn't believe it when I saw Oksana Chusovitina. Was it the same little girl I used to watch from the Unified team? How could she still be doing gymnastics? I did some research, and fuck me dead, it was her. So I just wanted to say thank you because your podcast has helped me understand how gymnastics works nowadays so much.
Thank you. And I'm so glad you're going back to adult gymnastics because it is the best thing. It will liberate you from all of any childhood trauma you had in gymnastics, doing adult gymnastics. It's the best thing ever. You did the right thing by strengthening your wrists. Just remember, even though your body might remember, you're not going to have the strength that you did. So go very slow and do basics, very, very basics on your first day. Thank you so much for this letter. To answer the first question, a Dos Santos, the same as a Biles 1.
They're still, at least for now, they're still considered different. Who knows what the World Gymnastics will do soon and what they've done with Lorena Oliveira's double Arabian skills is a problem. But for the moment, they still consider these different because of the tumbling direction. So the Biles 1 is a double back layout with a half twist, and so it's in a different category of the code of points as the Dos Santos double Arabian layout because that's a half turn and then forward flipping. So they still differentiate the direction of the flipping to show that it's a different skill, even though they've kind of eliminated using the position of the twist to differentiate the skill.
Yeah, which is to your point. To Becky's point, this is my whole problem with the code. Like, you can't consider the skills the same when it's totally different to do them. To actually perform it is completely different. The Biles is a double layout, half turn at the end. The most important, the hardest thing about that is like doing it at the end and then not dislocating your entire body at once and hyperextending everything. The Dos Santos is like turning at the beginning and then doing a double layout forward and getting the momentum is so hard to do. And then also not exploding all your joints when you land. So thank you so much for this letter. If you guys have thoughts for us, send them to gymcastic@gmail.com. Don't forget that if you have a friend who has signed up for Club Gym Nerd and they've already signed up, then email us at GymCastic. Tell us their name and what email they used. And we will activate the referral program where we will credit you for bringing in a Club Gym Nerd member for a month. And behind the scenes of this week is at noon Pacific. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you on Friday. Until then, remember to take off on gay, split on rights. Thank you for listening.